Aries. If desire asks for confirmation, slow down. It may be asking for a choice. The practical question is blunt but useful. What does an attraction that demands a choice actually prove when you stop filling it with words? Moon opposite Lilith. In the field of words, exchanges, and the near environment, a small nuance can turn into a decision. This is the point where someone lights you up, but the sky asks you not to hand over the wheel. The heart does not want to seem today. It wants to know whether an attraction that demands a choice still leaves room for your dignity. For Aries, courage today is not charging ahead. It is deciding without giving the wheel to haste. The stake is simple. Do not let yourself be chosen only because you are afraid of not being seen. The risk is mistaking a thrill for truth and realizing too late you were only asking for confirmation. Move, strip away the seductive line, and leave the real one, even if it is shorter. Come back to this when the rush tries to pass itself off as proof. Taurus. Today, care is not generic softness. It is a practical choice. The opportunity is not huge, but it is real. To give an imbalance that needs to be brought back in line, a response while it is still alive. Moon opposite Lilith. Today, the resources, money, value access becomes more useful when you stop looking for an elegant explanation. This is the point where recovery stops feeling like a luxury and returns to being the base that keeps everything else from fraying. If you remove one unnecessary demand, you do not lose strength. You recover it where it actually matters. For Taurus, value is better defended by choosing in time than by enduring in silence. The stake is protecting the living margin that determines tone, response, and the ability to choose well. If you keep forcing an imbalance that needs to be brought back in line, the price can show up as the wrong tone, an impulsive reply, or fatigue taking the wheel. Move, cut one concrete demand before it becomes the center of your mood. Save it before you sacrifice your body to a non-essential demand. Gemini. An attraction only matters today if it leaves your measure intact, not if it pushes you to chase. Picture one room. Inside are a desire not to confuse with confirmation, your reaction, and what you no longer want to carry. Moon opposite Lilith. If the identity-body-presence axis stays unnamed, the day will make it speak in a rougher way. It is an emotional moment that seems small, but in fact measures how well you protect yourself while you want. Desire becomes legible today, in the way a desire not to confuse with confirmation either respects or consumes your boundary. The stake is not letting the need to feel chosen make you call something love when it does not keep you whole. If you chase confirmation, the heart may feel alive, but the choice gets poorer. Move. Name what you feel with restraint, but do not give more presence than the other person can actually hold. Carry this with you if the heart runs faster than the truth. Cancer. Do not accept a price just because the conversation is uncomfortable. Draw a line. Up to here, a value still without a measure can come in. Beyond this point, it has to become a choice or go. Moon sextile Vesta. The career role public direction axis asks for a concrete reading. What changes, what stays, what must be decided. It is a line item that does not sit on the table, but it decides the tone of the conversation. If nobody names the bill, a value still without a measure can turn into the usual advantage of whoever insists best. The stake is not letting discomfort decide the price for you. For Cancer, protecting everyone becomes expensive when you lose your center at the exact point that matters. If you leave the practical measure vague, someone will use that gap to their advantage. Move. Ask for the figure, the measure, or the detail before offering emotional availability as an advance. Come back here before you say yes to a cost you have not counted. Leo. The uncomfortable truth is not here to hurt you. It arrives because the alibi has worn out. You do not need to become cold. You need a decision that separates a discomfort that no longer accepts makeup from the noise around it. The sun makes the rest closure's inner preparation area explicit. What was implicit now asks for a position. This is the scene where the problem is no longer the world around you, but the comfortable version you keep telling yourself. The more you make the distance look noble, the more a discomfort that no longer accepts makeup proves the real point is still there, steering you. The risk is protecting your apparent coherence while leaving the very issue that drains you unresolved underneath. For Leo, pride only serves if it leaves room for the real choice. If you keep covering the truth underneath, the day may look calm while it decides for you. Move. Write the sentence you are avoiding. Then cut the part that hits and keep the real one. Come back here when an excuse starts sounding like common sense again. Virgo. If attention asking for a clean move tightens, maybe it is not asking for patience. It is asking for action. There are two doors here. Through one, you pass with no friction. Through the other, you pass with more truth. The sun signs the field of networks, friendships, and future plans. What you do now says more than what you explain. This is the point where the day puts you in front, not of the whole problem, but of the first piece you can actually move. The right motion does not solve everything. It does open the point the habit has been keeping shut. The risk is not making a crooked step. It is letting the stuck point keep deciding the tone of everything else. For Virgo, real precision does not avoid choice. It sharpens it. The risk is calling a polished block calm. It makes no noise, but it keeps you in the same place. Move. Choose the gesture that lowers the noise and make it without opening 3 explanations. Use it as a clean cut before your mind opens 3 more exits. Libra. If you leave a figure or a resource vague, someone is already choosing the value for you. Do not wait for the perfect entrance. Cross the point where a figure or a resource can finally take shape. With the sun on the career role public direction axis, what seemed like background now takes authority and asks for an adult response. It is a value that wants form before it turns into an automatic concession. Here, the practical boundary protects dignity. Do not let that boundary depend on politeness alone. For Libra, useful peace does not leave the real cost vague. If the cost stays implied, the day often chooses the price most convenient for others, not for you. If that boundary stays vague under a polite tone, whoever insists more sets the price. Move. If the boundary is real, write it or say it now, not after it has already been crossed. Save it before you say yes to a figure you have not really checked. Scorpio. Today the opening does not arrive shouting. It comes through an invitation to move before the noise. You do not need more preparation. An invitation to move before the noise is already on the table, and the sky asks you to read it without makeup. The sun moving through the vision travel study axis asks for clean exposure, less backstory, more visible action. The useful opening today has a concrete shape. Real possibility asks for presence, not fantasy. This is the scene where you feel something can actually move, but only if you stop waiting for an aesthetic guarantee. For Scorpio, the day rewards you if you name the naked point before building a strategy around it. If you stay too composed, the useful moment can pass and leave you only with an elegant version of regret. If the signal stays suspended, tomorrow you may call chance what was a choice today. Move. Answer the opening with one small act, not one big theory. Come back to this when the opening seems too small to matter. Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, the resource to protect is not only money, it is position. This is not just a sky theme. A practical boundary to declare enters your day through body, choice, and stance. The sun lights up a field of intimacy, shared resources, and transformation. The day shows where you are putting presence and where you are only running on habit. It is the kind of moment where embarrassment wants to stay in charge and the sky asks for clarity instead. For Sagittarius, the risk is wanting to stay open to everything and leaving the very thing that matters without form. Value becomes respectable when you name it, before a practical boundary to declare turns into debt. If the cost stays implied, the day often chooses the price most convenient for others, not for you. If the real cost stays vague under a polite tone, whoever insists more sets the price. Move. Separate the wish for peace from the actual price. Then decide with clarity which one you can carry. Tomorrow will reward having seen cost, promise, and value in the same place. Capricorn. If you keep treating a block to move like a detail, today you risk handing it the whole stage. Narrow the field. A block to move is the point where the day stops being generic. With the sun active, the field of relationships, agreements, and confrontation becomes a mirror. The real point shows in how you expose yourself. It is a door that does not open with more analysis, but with one small, clean choice. The day turns when the gesture enters the scene and forces that block into something measurable. The stake is using pressure to choose, not to build a more polished version of delay. For Capricorn, real steadiness today also includes the moment you say where your margin ends. If you do not touch that gesture today, the price tomorrow may be less energy for the same choice. Move. Do not negotiate with the block all day. Give it at most the time it takes to be named. Keep it close, at the point where fear tries to look like method. Aquarius. This is not fear. It is the moment when the sky asks you for a cool head. Mercury activates daily work, method, and health. The choice cannot stay automatic. The risk does not shout. It hides in the part treated like boredom. It is something small, a shift, a list, a gesture skipped because it seemed too technical. For Aquarius, seeing beyond is not enough. Today, the missed pass becomes the point that calls you back. Skipping the details seems innocent. Then that is exactly where clarity leaks. The routine presents the bill when you treat precision like bureaucracy. The practical detail is only small until you skip it. The strong move is respecting the detail nobody sees. Are you skipping a detail or sabotaging the sequence that keeps you clear? Fix one pass, one shift, one sequence. Do not open anything else. Move, repair one step, and leave the rest alone for now. One step done well is worth more than 10 minutes stolen badly. Pisces. The love signal today is not sweet. It is precise and maybe uncomfortable. This is the scene where someone looks at you, texts you, or provokes you, and you know whether you want truth or quick relief. Tighten the frame. One real detail is enough for a domestic closeness to stop feeling like theory. Moon opposite Lilith. Today, the home root's emotional base area responds immediately to anything left too vague. Desire does not need to be shut down here, but guided. A domestic closeness matters when it does not force you to betray yourself in order to keep it near. For Pisces, feeling everything is power only if the emotional scene does not stay in a fog. A clean bond does not need you to betray your boundary just to seem soft. The cost is giving presence before you know whether the emotional scene truly deserves space. Move. Make a choice that protects both the heart and the boundary, not only one of them. Save this before you turn a living point into a reply given only from fear of losing contact.